How many people are lucky enough to be friends with an internet star? I myself am an internet star. Ever since I was 6 years old, I thought that wrestling was the coolest thing on earth. I remember seeing Stone Cold Steve Austin and thinking, that guy is the coolest guy ever. But since I was only 6, I knew that it would be forever before I could enter the ring. So I started my own wrestling league. My friends and I started wrestling in our backyards. My parents never really liked my wrestling. By the time I was a teenager, and they started to see that this wasn't just a fad, they started to actively discourage my wrestling. A very clear recent time that I felt unsupported was when I wanted to go to DC to participate in an event that another wrestling league was having. I was personally invited, but my mom wouldn't let me and didn't give me a straightforward reason as to why I couldn't go. It can be frustrating at times. I consider it a job and I devote a lot of time to my work. I'm actually pretty lucky. My parents support most of what I do, but when it comes to wrestling, I have to go somewhere else. This support comes from my friends, teachers, fans, others who wrestle, and sometimes even strangers. For me, a huge part of why I enjoy wrestling comes from my internet fans. Young people today live a large portion of their lives online. The internet gives us a space to express ourselves, be creative, and connect with others who share similar interests. My mom says, "You don't know those people." So what if I don't know them? People are people, and they like what I do. Every day, more and more people are becoming famous and sharing their work through websites like YouTube. In my parents' generation, if you like wrestling, you'd be limited to sharing that passion with your neighbors and your friends. But with the internet, a young person can put a video up on Saturday and have 1,000 views by Monday. It all started when I got my first video camera and became able to upload videos onto YouTube. What started out as fun and games has become the real deal. In October of 2010, we had one video that ended with a big cliffhanger. The two biggest rivals who had been feuding for a year faced off against each other with the championship on the line. The underdog won. 15 minutes later, he was attacked and injured, forcing him to relinquish the championship. 4 months later, he returned from injury to face off against the guy who took him out. I knew that posting this video was important because of the cliffhanger we left off on, so I wasted no time in getting it up on YouTube. The response to it blew my mind. 500 views in one day? That was crazy by my standards, and the number continued to grow as each day went by. Once it got past 1,000 views, about 2 weeks later, I knew that I had gained the following I was hoping for and was becoming an internet star. After posting of what I consider my most successful video to date, I started to notice how our video views were going from single digits to double to triple and to now quadruple. This was my first taste of internet stardom, and it made me feel like my work wasn't going to waste, and it wasn't a big waste of time. My family never really supported me wrestling, so when they heard about my internet fame, they didn't particularly care for it. My parents want me to be successful and better off in life than they were. They want me to be the opposite of them, but I want to be successful in my own way. But my parents just don't see things from my point of view. Even though my parents don't support everything I do, it isn't going to stop me. I've made a goal for myself to keep wrestling for as long as I can. As long as the internet allows me to keep in touch with wrestling fans from around the world, I know that I'll be able to keep doing what I love.